What's up, horror fans? This is Joker5150 here at Horoscope 101 again. In this particular week, our topic is John Carpenter week. And that could be anything from him directing something, him writing something, him producing something, him showing up on set with coffee for everybody, just whatever. As long as John Carpenter was a part of it, we're going to cover it this week, or at least some of it. My particular my particular movie that I'm going to review this week is my favorite horror film of all time. Well, tied with something else, but won't get into that. For those of you that know me know what I'm talking about. Anyway, I'm surprised that I'm actually getting to review this. I figured somebody else would have jumped on it. I'll probably be reviewing it again later in the year. You'll know what I'm talking about. But since it was John Carpenter week, I just wanted to do it, especially since it didn't seem like anybody else was going to do it. I wanted to do it because it's my favorite John Carpenter film of all time. It's my favorite horror film. And yeah, so since it was John Carpenter week, this is what I decided to do. And it is the original John Carpenter's Halloween. And I don't know if you'll be able to pick this up or not, but it's got one of those lenticular covers or whatever you call it. And the image changes if you move it around. For one, it shows the original. It's probably not going to pick up on camera, but it shows the original cover, which is the pumpkin and the butcher knife beside it, and then it changes to a artistic painting or drawing of the Myers mask or the Shape mask. Anyway, this is John Carpenter's Halloween. It's limited edition. I can't remember when this DVD came out, but it was limited edition, and my number is 28,839. Not sure if it was 30,000 copies or 60,000 copies. I don't remember because it doesn't say. But I'm pretty sure, it being 28,000, almost 29,000, I'm not in the lower thousands, so I mean, it really doesn't matter. That's one thing with limited editions. The lower the number, the better. Even though every copy is the same fucking thing, the lower the number, the more prestigious it is, or whatever. Anyway, this is a 2-disc set, and what it contains is the theatrical version of the film as well as the TV version of the film. Now, I will say this about this particular set. The TV version is kind of misleading as far as titling it that. The TV version is not technically the version that you saw on TV. What I mean by that is that it's not edited. Well, it is edited, but it's not edited for television, as they like to say it. What the TV version is in this is it's the theatrical version with the extra TV scenes that was filmed back in 1981. I'll get into that in a minute. Edited into the theatrical version. So nothing has been cut out. It's just had the TV scenes edited in. So it's more like an extended cut, really. That's the version I actually prefer to watch even over the theatrical version, because like people that know me, I like when stuff has more to it. Extended versions, I love it. As long as the original integrity of the film isn't like fucked with, I love extended stuff. Anyway, so yeah, every year for Halloween I watch the extended version, or like it says here, the TV version. And it's got some other extras, radio spots, talent bios, still and poster gallery, behind the scenes still gallery. It does have a Halloween Unmasked 2000 kind of featurette or whatever. Again, featurettes. Give me at least an hour-long documentary, please. And then, of course, it has the Halloween television version. Both of them are in widescreen. I love widescreen. If the film was presented in widescreen, I want it in widescreen at home. Even if I have a full-screen television, I still want widescreen. But thankfully for me, I have a widescreen film, flat screen as well. Anyway, on to the film. Now that we got kind of that stuff out. Oh, before I actually get to the film, what I mentioned earlier, the TV scenes. Back in 1981, this was around the time when Halloween 2 was coming out in theaters. That year, network television like NBC, I think it was NBC, can't remember, it's been a few years, they were going to show Halloween for the first time on network television. Well, since it's a horror film, obviously there's got to be some stuff, especially in 1981, that's cut out, which is kind of funny because there's not really that much of the original film that's that graphic. It's more implied. Anyway, they had to cut some stuff out, especially a couple of the PJ Souls segments in the film. They had to kind of edit those for television. So what they had to do, since they were cutting out some of the running time on the movie, you know, with commercials and everything, an hour and a half movie usually was like 2 hours. Well, they had to make up for some of that time. So around the time that they were filming Halloween 2, John Carpenter had to come in and film some extra scenes for Halloween 1 that was going to be put in for the television cut. That way they would still have a long, you know, they would have enough time to run it on television since they had to cut out stuff. So anyway, that's what's included on the television version here. Like I said, it's the theatrical version with nothing cut out. Not, you know, as my good friend Claire would say, PJ Souls titties are still there, but they also add in the TV stuff that John had to go back and reshoot with, like Laurie. There's some scenes with Laurie and PJ Souls. For some reason, Linda. I had to think about it. I was like, what the hell is her character's name? Can't believe it's my favorite movie, and I couldn't remember the name. I had a little brain fart there, man. So anyway, they had some extra scenes between them, and there's a couple more scenes with Dr. Loomis, and nothing really of substantial need, but you know, when you need extra stuff for television, it's more like dialogue stuff. But anyway, it's great, and I love it, and it's in the television version, so that's the one I choose to watch every year whenever I watch Halloween. Anyway, now on to the film. What can I say about this fucking film? This film, I actually saw it in theaters. Actually, I think it was a drive-in back in 1978 when this came out. So that means that I had to be 6 or 7 years old when this movie came out. My parents went to go see it, and I went along with them. Maybe that's why this film affects me so much. I'm still holding it. Like you people haven't seen it and you don't even know what the fuck I'm talking about. Anyway, I absolutely love this film. One of my favorite things, like I've said in other videos, one of my favorite things, more so about this film, or like say the first 2 films, this could really happen. Now later in the series they kind of get a little bit supernatural and all that kind of stuff, but anyway, that's one of the things I like about this. It's a guy in a mask going around trying to hunt down people and kill them. That could happen in real life. So that's one of the reasons why I like this so much. I love Halloween, just the holiday itself. I love the whole aspect of Halloween. My good friend Shadow, who I talk about a lot of times in these videos, and his wife Noob, who are over at All Come On Gaming. Well, every video is going to be like a shout out to them, but you know, we've spent a lot of time together, so you know, it just draws up memories and stuff. They're really big in Halloween. They got married on Halloween, which was really cool at the time, and I got to be there and everything. It was like a little small, you know, kind of ceremony and everything. But anyway, they got married on Halloween, so I thought that was cool. I wish I'd have done that, but anyway. So yeah, Halloween's a real big holiday for them too. Just go over and ask them, they'll tell you. And it's a real big deal for me. So to have a film based on the holiday, and of course it's a horror film, you know, what more could you ask for? I love the mask. I won't get too much into the other films because I'm reviewing the original Halloween. I prefer the original mask that's in this film here, which was actually a William Shatner Captain Kirk mask from 1975. They took it because, you know, they needed the killer to wear something, and they tried out a few different things. I even think they tried out a clown mask or something, and it was eerie, but they just didn't like it or whatever. So, you know, they sent somebody, I don't remember if it was Tommy Lee Wallace, I want to say it was Tommy Lee Wallace, went around looking for like Halloween stuff, or you know, masks and stuff, and they came across this William Shatner mask, And they had, they took it back, and of course the mask, the original mask, doesn't have the big eye sockets open, so they, cut some of the eyes out and kind of widened them out a little bit. And they painted the face white, and they removed, since it's a Captain Kirk mask, it had sideburns, like little pointed sideburns, like the Starfleet officers had on the show and everything. They tore those out, so if you look really closely at the mask, you can see where there's like a glue outline where there used to be like sideburns. Well, those are out now. They're gone. And they painted the face white, and also if you look very carefully, some around the back part of the neck and like around the edge here, it's not really painted. It's still kind of the flesh color of the Captain Kirk's mask. I don't know what happened there. It was a low budget film. I think they spent like $300,000 or something on the making of the film. So I mean, what do you expect? But anyway, it's still phenomenal. For the most part, the mask is white, and of course, you got the really screwed up hair. Looks like it hasn't been combed in 300 years. But it was really spooky, and I remember them putting on the mask, and like it would really freak out Deborah Hill and everything. That's another aspect. Well, first of all, I love the mask. I absolutely love the mask, and just the mechanic's jumpsuit. That just, for whatever reason, it just works. I mean, this guy's not out trying to like shop at Abercrombie. It's just an escaped mental patient. I mean. And he comes across, I'm not so sure if everybody caught it in the film, he comes across a mechanic on the road, kills him, off camera of course, and that's still, he steals the guy's outfit, and of course the mechanic's wearing a jumpsuit. And, he needs something to wear because he actually escapes the mental ward, or the sanitarium, just in like a, one of those robe deals that they have people that you wear in hospitals, little dress robes or whatever. So he's got to wear something. I mean, he's walking around barefooted, and probably got underwear on and this like nightgown. So he steals this guy's outfit, steals his boots or whatever, and then come to find out he breaks into a hardware store and steals. They said in the film, if you listen carefully, Sheriff Brackett says he stole some Halloween masks and a couple of knives. Masks? That's like plural. I mean, what did he do? Steal the William Shatner mask, and then steal a Casper the Friendly Ghost mask, and looked at both of them and said, well, they're both white, but this one's got hair and this one's bald, so I don't like that one. And he puts on the Myers mask. Like he walked into the store and he's like, hey, this one says the Myers mask. That's my name. I'll get this one. Anyway, so I don't understand that line unless there was something in the script that was left out or whatever. Anyway, he only shows up with one mask. And now I kind of lost my train of thought. Another thing I liked about the film is all of the boogeyman stuff, or the shape as he's called in the script, all of that stuff, and like the Dr. Loomis stuff, all of that was written by John himself. Deborah Hill, which was like a co-writer / producer on the film, her role as far as the script goes, she wrote all of the stuff between the girls, like all the banter about, so who are you going to ask out, Lori, and I'd rather go with Ben Tramer, and all that kind of stuff. All of that was handled and written by Deborah Hill. She did all the teenager dialogue and situations, and John handled the Dr. Loomis, Michael Myers dynamic of the film. And to me, that's kind of really cool, because both aspects to me play a little different in the film. The girl stuff really, to me, sounds like girl stuff, like just how girls would talk to each other, leaving high school for the weekend, Halloween's coming up, they're going to have a dance, that just really girly talk, what are you going to wear to the dance, who you asking out, you want to smoke of this joint, all that kind of stuff. That's another aspect I want to bring up in this film. In the actual film, I could be wrong, I don't think it's really talked about. I think it's just understood that when Annie goes to pick up Lori, to take her off, to babysit. When they're in the car together, they are smoking a joint. As in, they are smoking weed. As in, they are smoking grass. As in, they are smoking marijuana, people. And so when they come up, and they see the sheriff is there at the drugstore, or excuse me, the hardware store, and he's going to recognize Annie's car, so they have to stop because he'll think it's funny, that they see him stand there on the corner and they don't, stop and say hi or whatever. So they're like, put this out, and they're like trying to wave the smell off and stuff. In the TV version, not the one that's included in the set, but like actually on TV, they played it off to where it was like they were just smoking cigarettes. They were not smoking a cigarette. They were smoking weed. Deal with it. Now I understand, they, back in 1981, they probably didn't want to talk about smoking weed on network television. NBC executives probably would have had a shit attack for that. But they were smoking a joint. They were not smoking a cigarette. So I thought that was cool how they kind of, well, not cool, but because I hate censorship, as I've said before. But I thought it was funny, they didn't want to leave that part out, because that's actually the part where we find out from Sheriff Brackett that someone broke into the hardware store and stole a couple of stole some Halloween masks and a couple of knives. So I guess that's more of an explanation as to why Michael Myers, when he left the sanitarium, he didn't have a mask on, and now all of a sudden he has a mask. Well, this explains why. That would be me if I was a director. I'd want to explain every single little thing, when some things just don't need to be explained. But my movies would be 5 hours long. Nobody would come see them because I'd want to explain every single little detail. And to me, that's what that little scene is. Like, we must explain that Michael Myers broke into this hardware store and stole some Halloween masks and a couple of knives. That way it explains why he's wearing a mask and where he got the utensils to kill with. So, anyway, one other quick note I want to mention. Near the end of the film, there's a scene where Laurie Strode is sitting on the couch in the living room. I had a little brain fart there for a minute. And Michael Myers comes up from behind the couch, and he's got a big butcher knife with him. And she stabs him in the neck with like a knitting needle, and he falls down. Well, anyway, the knife he had was stuck in the couch. So after she drops Myers' ass behind the couch with the knitting needle, she's on the couch, and she gets the knife and she throws it on the ground. There's a reason why I'm mentioning this. She throws it on the ground, and it lands like on the floor, still in camera view. I think you see the handle of the knife and then like about that much of the blade from the handle. It's kind of like down. It's in view of the camera. Then things happen. I don't want to spoil too much of it. Anyway, that knife shows up later upstairs in the closet area because Laurie has to use it. Michael brings it, but Laurie winds up using it. Again, long story short, I'm bringing this up because there's a blooper in the film. This is how much I've watched this film. At the end of the film, again, I'm not going to spoil it for those that haven't seen it. At the end of the film, they show different shots, like of the upstairs, of the outside of the Myers house, of the outside of the Wallace's house, of the outside of the Doyle's house, and the living room, and different things. You'll understand when you see it, why they show these different images. When they show the image of the living room, that knife that was brought upstairs by Michael to the bedroom is still in the shot downstairs in the spot where Laurie had dropped it after she pulled it out of the couch. So I thought it was funny. I mean, I guess they just, hey, since we're here, we're going to film this at the end of the movie. We're going to have a shot of the living room, so let's go ahead and just film the shot now. I thought it was funny because technically that knife was upstairs the last time we see it, but yet when they show the shot of the living room, the knife is still down there in the floor exactly where Laurie dropped it earlier in the film. So John, sorry, that was a screw up. You should have caught that, or you should have had someone else catch that. Another thing I wanted to bring up, another blooper or whatever, there's a scene where Annie and Lori are walking along from school. They had already dismissed Linda. Linda went home. And they see Myers standing by this hedge. Now, some of you may already know this, but some of you may not. So I'm going to put this in there. Lori sees him, but Annie's not, she's like looking down at her books or looking in her purse or something, I can't remember. So anyway, Michael kind of steps back behind the hedge, and I thought it was really stupid how they did this, because only after he steps behind the hedge, then Lori says, Annie, look, it's that guy with the car that you yelled at. Why didn't you say that when Myers was still standing on the sidewalk? Duh! Anyway, she waits until after he hides behind the hedge to say, look. What the fuck is she going to look at? There ain't nothing there as far as she knows. So anyway, that was stupid. Anyway, there's another point I'm going to bring up here in a second that I thought was really stupid. Anyway, Lori says that to Annie. Annie's like, oh, subtle, isn't he? And she runs up, or hurriedly walks up, and like peers behind the hedge. Hey, creep. Or listen, creep. I think it's hey, creep. And then, of course, Lori, dear, come here. He wants to ask you out. He won't, blah, blah, blah. She comes over there, or, excuse me, I got ahead of myself. As Annie's telling Lori to come here, if you look really closely, sometimes it's easier to see, sometimes it's not, depending on what version of the film you got. When Annie's looking back at Lori from the hedge, you'll see a little trail of smoke that shouldn't be there, kind of waft from this side of the screen, kind of in front of Annie. And come to find out what that is that's John Carpenter with a cigar. I think it was a cigar. Anyway, director's there, so he's there on set directing. And I guess he was just too close to the shot. I don't know. He must have been just standing just right off of camera. So anyway, they're filming the scene. He's smoking his cigar, and all of a sudden the cigar smoke just kind of wafts into frame. I thought that was funny. There was the other thing I wanted to bring up at the beginning of the film, when little Mikey Myers goes upstairs to handle some business, for those that haven't seen it. Anyway, he has a knife, and I know people are going to know what I'm talking about that have seen it already. You're probably sitting there going, I know what he's going to talk about. Well, I still got to bring it up because it came into my brain, and I just have to say it. He goes up now, he's wearing a mask. It shows him clearly bend over and pick up a clown mask. By the way, most of those shots was actually Deborah Hill's hands as Michael Myers, like when he's in the kitchen and he opens up the drawers and he pulls out the knife and all that. That's actually Deborah Hill. That's Michael Myers. So he goes upstairs, he puts on the mask. Now what they do is when he puts on the mask, now the complete screen is blacked out except for these little eye holes. So you can't really see everything except for, I guess, what he's supposed to see. Because at this point, the camera is the killer. Now, he goes upstairs to his sister's bedroom, where he proceeds to, I'm just going to say it, sorry if this is a spoiler, if you don't want to hear it, shut it off. He proceeds to stab his sister to death. Now, I know it's a film, so don't tell me I know it's a film. Still, show a little bit of intelligence with your filming. Again, sorry John, I know it's my favorite film, but still, it's stupid. He goes to stab. Now, let's just say you're the killer, and let's just say my intended target is right here in front of me, which in that case was Michael Myers. I'm Michael Myers, and here in front of me is my sister. You go to stab her, and I know some of you, probably James, he's probably sitting there going, I know what he's going to say. You stab like this, right? So you're stabbing. Now I know, especially with the little eye holes here, that it's kind of hard to see what's going on. But if the camera is supposed to be the killer, then explain why the fuck the camera then turns to the hand to show the hand going up and down in a striking motion. Now, if this was just a camera view, that would be fine to show, the hand coming down. But if the camera is supposed to be Michael, what sense would it be, people? Again, inside here is the camera, but let's pretend there's another camera filming me. I'm striking down at my sister. Why would Michael do this? He literally, if the camera's supposed to be Michael behind the mask, he would literally have to go, "Hey, that looks pretty cool. I like how the light kind of shines off the blade here." That was a stupid, stupid, stupid camera angle. That was... every year when I watch it, I almost want to... I throw up in my mouth a little bit, because that is just a dumb camera move. I understand we want to show the fact that Michael Myers is stabbing multiple times his sister with a huge kitchen knife. Show it some other way. If you're going to go with the whole "I'm behind the mask," then you need to just figure out some other way. I don't know how you would do it, but just to have Myers turn his head as far as the camera goes and watch his hand motion, that is just dumb. That part is really like the only part that really just irritates the piss out of me. The rest of it, like the little smoke and all, that's just accidents or whatever. And the other thing, someone wasn't watching continuity very well, and they didn't notice that the kitchen knife was still on the floor for the living room, whatever. But that was just intentional stupidity. And I hate that part, and if there's anything I could cut out, I would somehow try to figure out how to change that or something or another. That just makes... "Oh, this is so very cool. I enjoy this so much. It's so fun. Look at it go by. It's so pretty." That's just dumb. Anyway, I hate to end the review on a stupid note like that, but definitely check this film out. It is my favorite of the series, of all of them. Except for that little knife thing. The rest of it is just, to me, expertly done. I will mention this before I wrap this up, I do like how the initial shot is actually all one shot of Myers out on the street, walking across, seeing his house, walk across the street, through the back, through the kitchen, through the living room, up the stairs, kills the sister, comes back down the stairs and exits the house. That's all in one shot. There's no edits. As a matter of fact, they talk about in one of the documentaries or something, when he's upstairs supposedly killing his sister, there's people that's out of the room having to reset lights, so when he gets ready to come down the stairs, the lighting is exactly right for the camera work. So they had to do all that while he's upstairs, admiring his handiwork. And so when he comes back down the stairs, the lights work just right to light the scene. I thought that was ingenious, so props up for you on that one, John. But I can't let you pass on the knife thing. That's just stupid. I'm not sure what you were thinking. Or maybe it wasn't a cigar you were smoking that day. Maybe you and Annie and Lori were in the car together smoking weed. I don't know. I'm just saying, that was just a retarded scene. Anyway, hope you guys enjoyed this review. I'm pretty sure it's probably going to be long. I could continue to talk about this film. There's a lot of stuff I didn't bring up because I don't want to spoil the film too much. I absolutely love this film. I probably ought to start a video series where I review films. I have like a non-spoiler review, and then I have a review where I just, whatever I want to talk about, if it happened in the film, I'm just going to bring it up. That way I can really talk about a film, because this film I could talk about for hours. The whole series actually, but this particular film I could talk about for hours. I love this film. I could watch it. A lot of people get asked if you could only watch one film over and over again and you were stranded on a desert island, but yet somehow you had power and electricity and you could watch DVDs and stuff. What movie? This would be definitely probably the movie I would pick. I could just watch it over and over again. I could I pretty much recite the film word for word. It irritates my family, like I mentioned before. I do that a lot with films I love, and I just know them word for word. I'll recite them with the movie or whatever. Check this film out. if you haven't seen it, stop whatever the hell you're doing right now and go get this film. I don't care what you got to do. Buy the DVD, buy the Blu-ray. As a matter of fact, in September, can't remember the date off the top of my head, they're coming out with a 35th anniversary edition of the original Halloween in a digibook format, and it's going to have, you know, like some extra stuff that wasn't in any of the other versions, because this one film has had so many releases I can't even tell you how many. One of the new features I know it's going to be on it is an absolutely new audio commentary from John Carpenter himself and Jamie Lee Curtis. That's one of the new features that's going to be on this set, so definitely check that out. If you haven't ever seen the film, pick that copy up. That'll be a good copy to get. And if you haven't seen the film, watch it again. I'm sure a lot of people will be watching it in October. I know I will be. So I will catch you guys later. Burping again. I will catch you guys later, and I can't remember what off the top of my head what next week's topic is, but whatever it is, I'm pretty sure it's going to be an exciting one. I can't wait to see what everybody else is going to review for John Carpenter Week this week. And I will see you guys next week with something new, and until then, just enjoy some piece of horror and get scared. So yeah, catch you guys next week.